and welcome to another brand new video. If you're new to the channel, my name is Jeroen Mul. I'm a professional racing driver working and racing for Lamborghini and doing all sorts of cool stuff with supercars around the world. And today, as you can see, I'm back on a racetrack. Yes, I'm here in Vallelunga near Rome in Italy for the second round of the Italian GT Championship. So as you may have seen in my previous racing video, which you can also see by tapping the link here in the top corner, I am competing this year in the Italian GT Championship representing Lamborghini Squadra Corsa by racing the Huracan GT3 EVO racing car. Hosted and serviced by Imperiale Racing, a racing team I've been working with for a couple of years now. We are competing together with Vito Postiglione in this Italian GT3 Championship. This championship consists of 8 racing weekends, of which 4 are endurance race weekends and 4 are sprint race weekends. And this one here in Vallelunga is the very first sprint event. After the endurance race we had in Monza, we are now here in beautiful Vallelunga for a weekend with 2 races, both 50 minutes long, having to do 1 mandatory pit stop with a driver change. So Vito will do half of the race and I will, and therefore we have 2 of these sprint races here this weekend. It is Friday today, which means free practice day. I already finished my first free practice session, which went already very well. We'll now adjust the car a little bit according to our feedback after this first session and go into the second free practice to make sure the car is completely set up and absolutely handling perfect for the qualifying and race 1 tomorrow. Now there is one little catch, and that is that the weather predictions are absolutely horrific for tomorrow. As you can see, it is quite nice and sunny today with some clouds, but still quite nice weather and absolutely dry. But for tomorrow, weather expects heavy thunderstorms with heavy rain. So we have to see how that's going to work out. But at the end of the day, everything is the same for everyone. All teams are coping with the same weather conditions. So it's still a level playing field. And we have to do our very best to make sure we end up on the top step of that podium tomorrow and the day after on Sunday. So without any further ado, I'm going to get myself ready for the second free practice to make sure the car is absolutely perfect. So good morning, it's Saturday morning, very early. We're here at the track now at 8:30 and all ready for qualifying. Now the weather outside is absolutely dreadful. It's super wet and raining very hard, but this car seems to be very fast in the rain, so we're very confident. Vito is in first, then I'm gonna be in Q2. I got all my gear here all ready and set up. My helmet is nice and dry and clean. Got my Hans system, my gloves, earbuds and everything. I will go through that once with you all to show you exactly what my gear is, what I'm using. But for now, I'm just gonna focus in and get ready for this very tricky, very wet qualifying. So that is qualifying done. Very satisfied with the result. Unfortunately in Q1, which Vito performed for us, he was very unfortunate with catching a red flag just at the end of his very fast lap all the way at the end. He was purple in first, second and third sector, just about to finish his lap, the 4th sector. Purple means purple sector, which means that you have the fastest sector time of everyone at that moment. So he was absolutely on a stellar lap and about to get the pole position by a big margin. But then someone around the track crashed. The session was finished with a red flag. He unfortunately had to abort his lap and the session wasn't resumed. So we had to do with the P3 lap that he had before that. Very good still. That also gave me a lot of confidence for me to handle the car in the wet. I then jumped in, had a very good session as well. The traffic around here is quite tricky since we are racing together with GT4 cars and other GT racing cars which are significantly slower than us, and especially here in the wet. So you catch a lot of them during the laps, but still good session. Managed to get to P2 at the end, just didn't make it to pole position, but still very good result now. And as you can see, I took the GoPro with me on my helmet to show you what that qualifying looks like. So let's go into the wet, take you around for my qualifying lap, my P2 lap here around Vallelunga. To go to the grid for the start of race 1, we're pretty much in the worst weather conditions possible because, as you can maybe see from the glance and glare here on the concrete part in the pit lane, it is still wet here and puddles here in the pit lane. But as you can also see, it's quite bright and there's actually a little bit of sunshine through the clouds. So what tires do you start on? Do you gamble on the track being dry very, very quickly and you just mount slicks, sacrificing a little bit of time and lap times in the start of the race, but hopefully catching that up and making up for another pit stop that you would have to make if you start on wets? Or do you start on wets, think that the track is not going to dry that quickly, get your advantage in the beginning, hopefully make it until the pit stop window opens halfway through the race, and then use that pit stop, the mandatory pit stop with driver change, to change to slicks and then finish the rest of the race? Or a third possibility is that it actually will start raining again and that you're very lucky in that scenario. So this is just a big gamble. It's like Russian roulette like this, and you just have to do what your gut feeling says. Try to read the weather forecasts and different apps, but this is definitely an engineer's worst nightmare, but it does make it very interesting. One thing we do know is that our car is very fast, both on dry conditions and on wet conditions. Qualifying went very well in the wet. Yesterday, free practice went very well in the dry. So we're confident in either condition. It's now just about making the right tire choice. So here on our tire card, you can clearly see the difference between the rain tires, the wet tires with a lot of tread, also a very soft compound of rubber to give you the maximum grip on the wet, and then the full slick tire, completely flat and very sticky and grippy, but only in dry condition. So in this GT racing that we are doing, there is no intermediate tire, which you may have heard of in Formula 1. They have 3 types of tires. They have a full wet, an intermediate, and a slick tire. We only have slicks and wets, so we have to choose between these two, and there's a very big gap between them. So therefore it's very important to make the right decision. Really, the wets don't work at all on dry track, and vice versa as well. The slick tires also absolutely do not work on the wet. So as it looks like now, it's definitely gonna be dry. It's still a little bit damp, so it's gonna be tricking the first part of the race for Vito. But with the sun beaming down like this, we can already see some dry patches on the tarmac. It's definitely gonna be dry enough for slick, so that's gonna be the tire choice. The Audi number 7 here on pole position. A new entry here for the Sprint Series with Andrea Fontana behind the wheel and Pierre Caffer. Definitely a very good pro. He has pole position, and next to them is the Mercedes with Rovera and Riccardo Agostini, a guy that I know very well. They did also very well in qualifying, now qualifying second. And then here we go, we have Vito, my car, the number 63 on P3 here, just behind the Audi with the bright orange Ferrari next to him in P4, and the rest of the field all behind. So again, this is going to be a very exciting race. Vito is definitely very fast around this track. We've shown performance in free practice and in qualifying in both dry and wet conditions. So let's get this race underway. I can't wait, and let's hopefully get a podium.
Naturalmente a veglia e a fuoco che stanno sopraggiungendo, ma ecco Jeroen Mul che sta tagliando il traguardo in una gara dominata dal primo all'ultimo giro della Lamborghini Huracan che battezza il campionato italiano GT Sprint. Sono cose purtroppo che capitano nelle gare di mini endurance. Ecco la classifica confermata: Postiglione e Mul che vanno a conquistare 20 punti.
So there we have it, guys. P1, we won the race. Absolutely stellar job by Ricky setting up the car, our engineer. Obviously Vito doing an awesome job in his first stint, and I brought it home. Absolutely fantastic.
Vito Postiglione and Jeroen Mul.
Yes, that's us.
Imperial Racing. Le bottiglie speciali, trofeo AC Roma.
Grande.
e a premiare Giancarlo Minardi, presidente del settore velocità, terza posizione Lorenzo Veglia e Lorenzo Case.
On the top step of the podium.
E per Riccardo Agostini e Alessio Novera. Vito Postiglione. E per il team Imperial Racing. Adesso è il momento di festeggiare con l'inno nazionale italiano.
So there we have it, guys, the trophy for the win here in Vallelunga. The race was absolutely perfect for us. Vito starting from P3, being able to overtake the Audi very early on in the race in still the tricky half-damp, half-dry conditions. Then he pulled away a gap. It even got a little bit tricky for him as there was a safety car which brought all the gaps back together again, and he had to start over basically, but he again pulled away from the Mercedes that was in second at that time. Gave the car to me, which was in absolute perfect shape, and also the engineer Ricky absolutely set up the car as a dream. It was super easy and nice to drive, super fast, and from that point on I was able to control the race, pull out a gap of about 8 seconds onto the Mercedes that was in second with my buddy Riccardo Agostini behind the wheel, absolutely putting up a fight with the traffic. It was very difficult to manage that, but fortunately for me I was able to manage that a little bit better, half the pace consistently, pull out the gap of about 8 seconds and win the race overall. So absolutely stellar job by the entire Lamborghini Squadra Corsa and Imperiale racing team, by Vito Postiglione and my teammate, who had an absolutely fantastic start and made my life very easy in the second stint. Now it's all about tomorrow's race to bring that home again. With this win we actually have a 30-second penalty, well, handicap basically, success penalty in tomorrow's race, so that's going to be a little bit more difficult, but still I'm going to be starting from the front row in P2 and we're going to try to do the same thing once more. So good morning, it is Sunday, the race today. So we're back at the track, obviously after the major success of winning the race yesterday. We're still buzzing from that, but that is only half the job done, because we have another race that has the same amount of points and we still need to do well in that race as well. Now I qualified for this race yesterday on second position, so I'm going to be in the front row on the outside line, the left lane, for the start of the race, which could be a little bit tricky going into the first couple of corners, but definitely going to do my best. I know the car handles perfectly and we have a very good pace, also we showed that yesterday, so I'm going to get ready for that.
Che si vede è a centro griglia, ma ormai tutto è pronto. Attenzione ad allinearsi bene. Ieri la prima partenza è stata considerata non valida da parte del direttore di corsa, perché a centrogruppo nessuno era riuscito a sistemarsi come doveva. Stanno partendo in questo momento, i sorpassi potranno essere fatti solo raggiunti la linea del traguardo. Sono partiti, mi sembra ci sia stata ancora un po' di confusione, però sta scoccando il cronometro. È passato al comando subito, immediatamente, con una bellissima azione a Riccardo Agostini, ex campione italiano di Formula 3, campione italiano nella Porsche Carrera Cup Italia. Al secondo posto è salita la Ferrari 488 di Antonio Fuoco, dietro il quale della F Corse di Antonio Fuoco. È chiaro poi che dal 21esimo minuto Calabrese con Antonio Fuoco, che è arrivato lungo. Di fronte a sé si trova la strada sbarrata dalla cinetta di Martini, che passa, quindi ricambia la classifica
race so far. Lost second position at the start. 2 wheels in the grass at 200 plus something was quite tricky. But I managed to fight back to the back of Fuoco and the Ferrari and overtake him on the track, which was very satisfying. Also, as he is an official factory Formula 1 reserve driver for Ferrari. So definitely someone that knows his way behind the steering wheel. So overtook him on the track. Then I couldn't catch up quite with the Mercedes that was in the lead, but still managed to bring the car back in P2. Obviously we have 15 seconds of handicap now in the pit stop, so we have to see where we fall back to. And I'm also absolutely sure that Vito can fight back. And the rain is also definitely coming, so we stretched our pit stop all the way to the end to cover the risk of having to do 2 pit stops, but everybody's in the same boat right now, so let's see what happens. So the final lap is running of race 2. Vito did an awesome job in the wet, getting the car in the second position. After the pit stop, we had to stop in the pit window and there was a shower coming, so we had to come in again, change the slicks to wets. Vito then absolutely killed it by closing down the gap to the Audi, who was in second, overtaking him. And now he's about to come by for the finish. You can hear the cars coming. There is the leader of the race, the Mercedes finish. And Vito is second. Awesome job. Absolutely fantastic. Second place, double podium here this weekend. Absolutely awesome job, also done by our engineer. Double podium. What a finish, what a perfect weekend. Well, perfect it would have been with obviously 2 wins, but obviously we had the 15-second time penalty because of our win yesterday. So coming in second with 15-second of penalty. Absolutely perfect. Now this does make our lives a little bit difficult for the next race, but at least we have the points in the pocket. We have 2 trophies, a lot of champagne. Let's go to the podium and catch Vito. And there comes Vito. Grandissimo. Grande. So there we have it, guys. Another Pirelli hat, another bottle of champagne and a trophy for another podium today. Second place was a good fight with Mr. Antonio Fuoco in the beginning of the race, but Vito and I then made it back to second position to finish the race in this way. So absolutely buzzing. What a fantastic way to finish off this weekend. Double podium after obviously our disappointing race in Monza. This is the way we want to go forward. Got a lot of points in the bag. Confidence in the car and an absolutely stellar performance by the entire team. So I want to thank Lamborghini Squadra Corsa and Imperiale Racing once again for their great support. So with that, I'm going to say goodbye to you guys for now. Thanks again for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please hit that like button. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do that as well. Hit the notification bell to stay up to date with every video that's coming out. And I'll see you guys very, very soon again.